What's up, everybody, and welcome to Rapid News. We're about to dive into the wild story of a soccer star who basically had it all. A World Cup medal, a legendary reputation at a huge European club, you name it. But then he made a move that nobody saw coming. He left it all to start a new adventure, and it kicked off one of the most insane seasons you can imagine. So let's get right into it.
So this is the guy we're talking about, Ángel Correa. For almost 10 years, he was the absolute heart and soul of Atlético Madrid, a giant club in Spain. He was that guy, the one who always scored the clutch goals, the perfect teammate. Like this fan on Reddit said, to the people who watched him every single week, he was a total legend. He was loved, and that's what makes what happened next so wild.
And that's the million-dollar question, right? Why would you leave all the glamour and glory of European soccer, where you're already a champion, to go start over in a completely different league? I mean, this wasn't some player who was past his prime just looking for a final paycheck. Correa was at the absolute top of his game. This move was all about a new challenge, a new ambition, and it set the scene for an absolutely unforgettable title race.
Okay, so let's break down part one of this story. Correa's massive, blockbuster move to Mexico's top league, Liga MX. And let me tell you, this wasn't just another player changing teams. This was a statement. It was a sign that the whole power dynamic of world soccer might just be starting to change.
You know how it's been for decades, right? The script was always the same. If you're one of the best players on the planet, you go to Europe. Simple. But now, other leagues, especially in Mexico, are starting to rip up that script. Teams like Tigres, they've got huge ambitions and, frankly, really deep pockets. We're talking passionate fans, big money TV deals. They're not just trying to compete anymore. They're making moves to become global forces.
Now just look at this number for a second. $10 million. That's reportedly how much Tigres shelled out to sign Correa. This was way more than just buying a good player to help win a trophy. This was a massive investment designed to send a message to the rest of the world that Liga MX is serious, that they want more viewers, more sponsors, and more world-class stars. And get this, Correa wasn't the only one. His move was actually part of a much bigger trend. All of a sudden, you've got James Rodriguez, a global icon, joining Club Leon. And then, a living legend in Sergio Ramos signs with Tigres' biggest rival, Monterrey. The whole league just leveled up overnight, flooded with incredible talent, which made everything way more exciting and way more unpredictable.
So, as you can probably guess, with all these huge names, the season was absolutely electric. But after all the regular season battles, when the dust finally settled, two teams were left standing, setting up what was basically a dream final. So let's meet the two titans who fought for it all.
Okay, so in one corner, you've got Correa's team, Tigres. They had the best defense in the entire league and finished in second place by just a single tiny point. And in the other corner, the defending champs, Toluca, they finished first and were trying to win back-to-back titles, which, is super hard to pull off. I mean, you could not ask for a more perfectly matched final. This was gonna be good.
And both of these squads were just stacked with firepower. For Tigres, everything on offense flowed through their creative genius, Juan Brunetta, and their new goal-scoring machine, Ángel Correa. For Toluca, the chances came from the brilliant Marcel Ruiz, and they were put away by Paulinho, who had been the league's top scorer for 3 seasons running. This final was shaping up to be a showdown between some seriously talented players.
But here's the thing about Liga MX. Just getting to the final is a battle. The regular season is one thing, but the playoffs? That's a whole different beast. Both teams had to survive this incredibly intense tournament where one bad night, one mistake, can end your entire season. This is where things get crazy.
So, for anyone who might not know, let's quickly break down the Liguilla. Just think of it like March Madness in college basketball or the NFL playoffs. It's a brutal win-or-go-home tournament. It doesn't matter what you did all season long. You have one bad game, and your championship dream is over. It is pure, unfiltered drama.
And Tigres' journey to the final is a perfect example of just how nuts this tournament gets. In the quarterfinals, they got absolutely hammered 3-0 in their first game. I mean, everybody wrote them off, thought they were done. But then, they came back home and pulled off this unbelievable 5-0 comeback to advance. Then, in the semis, they scraped by on a tiebreaker after 2 super tense games. This team just refused to quit.
So after that absolutely crazy journey, we finally get to the main event, the final. It's played over 2 games, and the first match at Tigres home stadium, well, let me tell you, it was a total roller coaster. You could feel the tension through the screen.
The first half was basically the Hugo Gonzalez show. Toluca's goalie was just a brick wall. making one incredible save after another. But then, right at the start of the second half, disaster struck for him. He fumbled a pretty routine ball, and of course, the one guy you don't want to leave an opening for, Ángel Correa, was right there to punish him. Goal. The stadium just exploded. But the chaos didn't stop there. Just 2 minutes later, Toluca almost tied it, but the ball was somehow cleared right off the goal line. It all ended with a red card for Toluca as things just boiled over.
And you can just feel the energy from this post on X. The all caps, the mind-blown emoji, it perfectly captures that "I can't believe that just happened" moment. A massive blunder from the goalie, for sure. But it was an absolutely ice-cold, clutch finish from Correa for his very first goal in a Liga MX final.
So after all that craziness, Tigres manages to win the first game 1-0. They had the lead, but it was a tiny one. And now for the second game, they had to go on the road to Toluca's stadium, a place that's known for being one of the most intimidating environments in all of soccer. It was all going to come down to this.
All right, this is it, the final verdict, the last 90 minutes of the season. One game to decide everything. Could Tigres protect their small lead and become champions, or could Toluca use their home field advantage to pull off a dramatic comeback?
And man, playing in front of that roaring home crowd, Toluca came out looking like a completely different animal. The energy in that stadium was just electric. They stormed out of the gates, played aggressively, and they totally flipped the script, putting Tigres on their heels right from the start. And they pulled it off. Toluca scored twice, winning the second game 2-0. So when you add up the scores from both matches, the aggregate score, the final was Toluca 2, Tigres 1. After all of that drama, Toluca were the champions.
So while Toluca is celebrating this historic 12th title, our guy, Ángel Correa, is on the other side of it. After a truly fantastic season, after scoring that huge goal that looked like it might win them the whole thing, his incredible journey ends in absolute heartbreak. Just brutal.
That's such a tough pill to swallow, isn't it? It's a classic sports lesson. Sometimes you can do everything right and still come up short. But it really makes you wonder, is this defeat the final chapter of his story in Mexico? Or is this just the kind of thing that's going to fuel him to come back even more determined to win it all next year?
And this whole situation kind of zooms out to a bigger question about the league itself. With all these stars like Correa, Ramos, and James making the jump, are we finally seeing Liga MX become a true final destination for top players, a place they come to compete and win titles in their prime? Or is it still just seen as a stepping stone? So now I want to turn it over to all of you. What do you think? Do you consider Correa's first season a success, even though they lost the final? And what do you think these big signings mean for the future of soccer in North America? We really want to know what you think, so drop your opinions in the comments below.
All right, that's going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed this breakdown, it would be awesome if you could hit that like button, share it with a friend, and of course, subscribe to Rapid News so you never miss what we've got coming up next. Thanks for hanging out with us.